Live from Pahrump, Nevada, the Valley of the Dirt People, it's Tech Talk Taco Tuesday with your hosts, Jimmy Lewis and Logan Tyler.
Audio. This is a good question.
There we go. Now welcome to Tech Talk Taco
Now,
Tuesday.
welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Like I said, my name is Jimmy Lewis. This is Matt Mattoon.
Hey there.
Technical difficulties again.
Technical difficulties again.
This is the way we like to start the show off.
Yeah. OBS was not picking up the mic for some reason.
Thanks. Does the first one to comment get a prize? Any first commenter but Craig Hunter gets a prize.
Yeah, I agree with this.
Tonight. I was actually going to say maybe the first person to ask a decent question on Instagram, but I'm going to send it to your prize to your Instagram account, and I don't know what that is. I don't even know. I went live on the wrong Instagram channel.
Right. We both had technical difficulties.
Well, I always do, but that's why I'm not doing what you do.
Right. Just two buttons.
Have you ever hosted on Tech Talk before? Like sat in the co-pilot seat?
Yeah, I've been a host on the show before,
Okay.
and not being a producer. It was years ago. I remember, I think it was Tech Talk Taco Tuesday number 7 and number 20-something.
Oh, you remember the numbers.
Yeah.
Were the shows horrible?
Yes, but not because of me.
Okay, so
I elevated the standards.
If you're wondering what Tech Talk Taco Tuesday is, and what was that beeping noise?
For some reason, my phone disconnected from the hot seat hotline.
Oh, that's not good. So, a couple things. This show would not be possible without the help of our sponsors: Yamaha, Moto, Scott Sports, Climb, DDC, Trail Tech, Fasst Company, Seat Concepts, and Bulletproof Designs.
Thank you for calling Collin Studios.
Excuse me.
Yeah, let's see if we can handle this like off the thing, not in the middle of my ad reads.
Yep.
So I'm not even doing ad reads. I'm just mentioning everybody. What's the best dual
Welcome,
sport bike?
host.
Dave
You are now
Donnelly.
in the host room and can manage your callers from the
I've
Collin
plugged in.
Studio web interface.
Wow. You know what? You should give out our password on like you did last time on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was going to be a lot. We'll take a couple mistakes. It's
Right.
just been nonstop criticism here. So the way this show works is brought to you by Yamaha, Moto, Scott Sports, Climb, DDC, Trail Tech, Fasst Company, Seat Concepts, and Bulletproof Designs. Is that if you have motorcycle and motorcycle product related questions, we generally have answers, and if we don't have answers, we get answers for you by somebody who really knows.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of know a lot of stuff. But the more I do this, I realize the less I really know. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of different ways to skin a fish. I think you skin a fish, right?
Yeah, or descale a fish.
Okay, so there's different ways to do things,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a very plain and common sense approach. Generally, we'll tell you how to do it the factory mechanic way, and we'll tell you how to do it with your chisel and your sledgehammer. I mean, husky tool inside of your garage. So, Dave Donnelly, we're going to get to your question for sure. And wow, Joseph just dropped a bomb of a question on there. That's good.
Joseph has a question and a story.
Hey, so we'll get to all these things. We throw them up in the chat. If you're watching this live, we answer your questions right here. We try to go to the ones that come in first right away. We have questions that come in through if you're listening to this like in a podcast form and you send us an email with a question, or if you comment on this video, if you're watching this like on YouTube or on Facebook and you comment on it, we go back over through those comments, grab them, put them into the next show, and that's where we get the majority of our comments, because who has time to watch this crap? Especially on Tuesday night. There's so much better stuff to do on Tuesday night than watch Jimmy and now Matt.
Yeah, Jimmy and Matt. New co-host. Like I said, we fired the kids. Yeah.
They're all fired except for Maddox, who's answering the phones. So,
right. Which we might actually have someone.
Yeah. If you get a call, we'll bring them right into the show. Just tell us what we're doing. And why is Mojave Bob? You're going to get close to being on the camera. You're getting close to the camera, buddy. Yeah, it steals your soul. I do it for 2 hours a week. I have my soul, not much left. But anyway, so thanks everybody for joining. Let's go to that. Let's go to the first question
from Dave.
Yeah.
Hey guys, what's the best dual sport bike?
In all honesty, and I've said this a million times before, You went to my camera and it was you.
Yeah.
How screwed up is that?
It's very
Wrong side. We
yeah.
switched. I got put in the corner.
Yeah.
I got moved over into the corner here. I'm getting promoted right out of the top of my own show. Right, Bob? See how they're doing this? I fire a couple people, and all of a sudden now I'm over here.
The cream is rising to the top.
I've said many times, probably the single best dual sport bike right now and for the last since 2012 has been a KTM 500 EXC. Period. We can argue about like different colored versions and all that stuff, but just take that and run with it because your question was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words. I'm going to give you a one-word answer. KTM 500. The show is brought to you by Yamaha. Yamaha. For motocross riders driven to dominate, the Yamaha YZ line of 4-stroke bikes are built for victory. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com today to explore what's new and improved for 2023.
2023 coming up.
Yeah, you can look at the 2022s and the 2023s, and if you don't know, probably the single coolest thing about the Yamahas is their power tuner that you can.
Yeah, that app is really impressive.
Free app, and you can turn your bike into almost anything. So it's like you can have any motor type you want with that. So on to the next one. Joseph Hahn says.
Joseph Hans.
That's where you start reading and I drink.
Right. I was looking at the call room. I have a 2002 DRZ 400E. That's been a great bike for me. Never had any issues and like to ride slower. That's a comma. Technical trails. I felt that I've been pretty lucky so far and decided to add some radiator protection with some Unibiker guards.
Unibiker, yep.
Unibiker guards. For
Of
some
course,
reason,
Pro Moto Billet does not make guards for that bike, as far as I can tell. But keep going.
Yeah. For some reasons, I'm concerned that I could create cooling issues that I haven't had before. I'm concerned because I had to remove the plastic air directing louvers and then block some of the radiator with the guards. How do I monitor the temp of my bike? Do I need to add a gauge or a sensor? Watch the expansion tank? Other suggestions?
That's a really good question. So you're onto something with the louvers doing what they do, and effectively what they do is they kind of slow the air down a little bit, and kind of they jam it into the radiators and kind of get it moving sideways so it does stuff, creates a vortex behind. There's lots of stuff. There's lots of reasons for the way they have louvers. So you can affect it. For 90% of the people, it's not going to make a difference. So the first thing, if you're concerned about it, the best thing to do would have been had a gauge. By the way, Trail Tech, one of our sponsors of the show, makes really nice gauges. They have a little gauges called a TTOs that do a lot of different things. One of them is a temperature sensor, and it has a thing that you can slide in your radiator. It's just I think it's copper, whatever. It just slides between the fins and measures the radiator temperature. They have one that goes in line, so it's like a thermostat housing kind of thing, but it's a temperature gauge. And so there's lots of ways to monitor. It would have been good to monitor it before and after, and then you would know. The easy way, like you mentioned, would be monitoring the coolant catch tank. You know, if you all of a sudden you find yourself pushing coolant out and not, like doing it, not doing it, whatever. But the louvers do make a difference, and I noticed, and contrary to what you would think, is if you're riding really fast, the louvers are better. If you're going really slow, they don't make much of a difference. And so and this is not from any sort of science. This was just from what I noticed in when my bikes would boil, not boil, depending on which radiator guards. Because I've had bikes that have boiled while you were holding them wide open or going pretty fast, and they didn't have a louver on it, and we learned that's what it was. And Bob over here, Mojave Bob, is our in studio like pet.
I'm the defender of the Queen's English.
He's the defender of the Queen's English, and I said something wrong. Louvers?
No, does his bike have a radiator fan?
No. DRZ 400, and what are you doing riding that thing on technical trails? I'll tell you what. Let me just save you. Sell that thing and get a KTM 300 or a YZ250FX.
Yeah, those things are awesome.
Yamaha is a big sponsor of the show, and so yes, get a Yamaha. I'm honestly stoked that we have sponsors. I mean, but they believe in what we're doing. They like the information we give out. So thank you to all our sponsors. And Dave says, okay, but a WR250 would be a cheater dual sport. Yeah, that's true too. But I just like to call, Yamaha doesn't make a dual sport bike. Otherwise, it would be the best one ever.
Right. Without
Without any question. Without any question, it would be the best dual sport bike ever if Yamaha made a real license plate carryable bike. So we'll just stop talking about that before I dig myself a deeper hole. But Dave Donnelly, Technical Trails, just go get one of those new fuel injected 2-strokes and
was it
crazy.
Dave or
Joseph?
Hahn?
Joseph.
Joseph Hahn.
What did Dave want to know? The best dual sport bike.
Right.
I can't remember names of places, names of people, names of places, or faces. I'm starting to learn. And even if I read a name, it's just like playing like name Yahtzee. You just go like that, and you pour them out, and the names are all over there, and then the questions aren't connected. But is that something that happens at 50, or am I premature? Like,
are you ahead of schedule?
Ahead of schedule?
Welcome to getting old.
Oh, shit.
Actually, Heather just says I'm on the spectrum. You know what you're doing? You're touching buttons over there. You almost just hit drop.
No, that's not why this thing's been going off. I don't know what's going on.
We have a call?
We do have a call. So we're going to bring Steve on.
Hey, Steve, welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. You are live on the show on the Seat Concepts Hot Seat Hotline. How can we be of assistance today?
Good God, man. Thank you. If I was having a lucid moment, I'd probably be afraid to do this, but I'm not at the moment. But your last caller, I can get him a WR250R that's been worked on, or a DRZ if he wants one.
Okay.
Or else I got a 300 that I want to upgrade my 300 for a fuel injected one.
Are you running a side business as a motorcycle shop there, and you're just using Tech Talk as the way to advertise? I mean, can we give your Instagram account or
no,
your?
I just was listening. I was just listening to you, and I was like, I'd had those two bikes, and I have a 300, and you guys were just talking. And my question on my 300, which is XEW, it's an 11, and how do I get the base gasket thickness that I already have? Because I've done enough mechanical things, and I could go on a list of them, but I'm not trying to change it. I don't want to make it worse before I make it better. It just seems like at 250 hours, it's probably due for a piston. Do you think?
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, I think that pistons are good on those. I would say if you're going to stretch it, you can go 150. And there's people that should change them at 50, and there's other people that can probably get a little bit more, like yourself. But here's what I do when I
I probably it would have been good to do it, but now that I've got some ribs, and you know how they make those sounds like broken sticks, and you can hear them in your helmet, and it's not the first time, and they're finally healing up enough so I can work on the bike instead of. And it just seems like it's been time to put a piston in it.
Yeah. So
how do I
back to the question? It's really simple. When you take it apart, pull out your caliper and measure the thickness of the base gasket, and that's what I always do.
Good enough.
It'll get you. It's if you're within a few thousandths one way or the other, because it's crushed down. But sometimes you can find places where it's not crushed down, where it's stuck outside of the pinch of the cylinder, and you can measure it there and then measure it crushed and realize that the crush distance is what it really is, and that the other thickness. And then I usually like to, because those will actually on the outside, in my experience, they have expanded over time from just getting sprayed with water and whatever. So it's going to be in between those two numbers. And the other thing is, realize that you're adjusting your kind of what we call the deck height when you do that. So there are a couple, if you wanted to have a little more compression, you might be able to kind of drop it down a little bit more.
Yeah, I live in the Rocky Mountains. I'm between the ski area of Vail and Glenwood. And, we're running, it's not that often I'm at 12,000 plus, but,
you're at 8 all the time.
I guess yeah, even when I'm awake.
Right.
Yeah.
So at that altitude, if you're going to be up there that much, it doesn't hurt to give the bike a little bit of compression. It can wake it up. And my buddy Victor here says my new friend Alzheimer is hanging with me these days. I just
Alzheimer. I mean,
Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard one.
That's where I'm at.
I heard one at the bar the other night about something. I got to remember what that name was, and I'll tell you the story. But hey, thanks for the call, and let us know when you rebuild that thing. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah, so it's not going to change. And as far as on the power valve, I know friends that are way more mechanical than I'm not unmechanical, but they're snowcat techs for years and years, and all I know is keep the solvent off my power valve O-rings, and can I stack when I buy a Vertex kit?
Right, when you buy the kit, they give you a whole bunch of different gaskets. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do to, you can make a lot of different variations in there and get it. And that if you're going to only change it by a few thousandths either way, one way or the other, you're not going to have to readjust the power valve, because on the KTMs there you can adjust the power valve. But you think about one rotation of that power valve adjuster is way more than a few thousandths, and it's generally pretty close, and that it's not really as precise as you would like to think. It's kind of, especially on the older ones. And let me tell you, the new electronic power valve is going to change everything, but it's a very imprecise thing. Hey, Yamaha, by the way, I like to bring up Yamaha, might be a sponsor of the show. Yamaha, between the YZ motocrosser and the YZ-X, one of the things they change is the ramp on the power valve to get it to open a little bit differently. And believe it or not, that does make a difference. So power valves are pretty critical, and we'll see this in the
all I know is
future.
That's why I bought that bike from somebody, is it was set up with a suspension that was set up by one of the guys that I'd known from Denver, and Matt. I can't think of Matt's name.
Matt's sitting right next to me.
Yeah.
Matt's.
I
remember his name.
He's old Matt. He was RG3 Matt from Denver. And
oh wow.
He was sicko, but he and the bike was there with I'm on a budget, so that's how I've got all these old bikes.
Okay, Steve, where do we find all your bikes that are for sale? Because I've got all these people in our chat room.
My garage.
What's your Instagram? Are you on TikTok? Are you on the Instagrams?
When you talk about those spectrum conditions, if I get near technology, I go into what is it called? PTSD and every
PTSD.
Other thing. So,
I need to get digital PTSD and then sue somebody. That way I can make my money.
There you go.
I'm gonna sue the gram. Hi Instagram. I'm live right on now on Instagram. I got it. If you're a good what do you take the case on pro bono? I need a lawyer that can help me out with this, because the digital stuff is screwed. The internet ruined motorcycle journalism and a lot of other journalism, by the way. But the internet ruined it.
Well, I'm gonna have a beer while we go class action here.
Okay. I appreciate it. Hey Steve, thanks for calling in. Hopefully we answered your question. We got a whole bunch of others ripping through here. And thanks for joining in.
Yeah, it's good we got Logan keeping an eye on you with Matt.
No, we fired Logan's gone. We fired him. He's gone. We got Maddox answering the phones over there. He talks. Maddox does.
Rock on.
When you call in, he says hello. So, okay, thanks a lot, Steve.
Well, we could go on a long time. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay, let's get back into these questions in the chat room. I saw a question on the grams here. I'm going to try to go back to it. OSU fan 2003 said, my boy just got a 2009 CRF 250X. Should he change out the bars and clamps to a 1 1/8? Worth it, or wait till they get bent? Oh, can you answer that question yourself? Yeah. If it's your boy, he's going to bend them. I mean, we know how this works. Wait till they need to be replaced, because I'm sure there's other stuff you can do. Make sure his tires are good. Make sure he has a spare air filter that's a good, clean air filter. Have some oil. Teach him how to change the oil. Don't worry about the diameter. That's so far down the road in affecting what will really make a difference in this kid's riding experience.
Right.
have a good, solid working bike, if everything's straight, make sure the levers are straight, all the little things first. But changing bar diameter is not going to make a big difference. But if you're like me and you're really picky, you need to look at Fasst Company flex handlebars.
Oh, that's
if you wanted to go to the bigger ones, check out flex handlebars. I'm a poster child for flex handlebars because they allow me to ride 2 days in a row. Like if I ride with regular bars, the shocks that go into my wrists are bad. But most people that listen to this show, I think, they got a couple extra bucks in the pocket and they want to get the good thing for their bike. So if you're going to upgrade your bars to a 1 1/8 inch, check out Fasst Company. That's FASST, FastCompany.com with the Flex, FLEXX handlebars. Used and endorsed by Jimmy Lewis to a level that you can't even understand. So, next.
All right. So, from Todd Kelly, how do you address an air leak between the stock header and an FMF 4.1? There's no clamp, springs, or gasket there on my 16 KTM 500.
So, Todd, between the stock header and the FMF slip-on. Oh, okay, I know this. This happens on Husabergs a lot, by the way.
All right.
Because 570s make a shit ton of power, excuse my French, and they have a composite subframe, which is way before the white KTMs came along and said, "Oh, we've got composite." Like Husaberg you can actually turn that composite subframe into a gas tank. It was a company that made a whole composite gas tank because you need a lot of gas in those because gas makes horsepower.
Right.
But so when you have a flexi, joint back there is what you have. Those things kind of move around. Todd, I don't have a really good answer because you could take it and use some of the high temp red silicone is probably your best thing, and you need to put it on there so you don't, because it's high temp. If you put a lot in there and it makes a ring in there, you're going to get kind of like a little bit of a restriction. Not that it really makes a big difference, but you don't want to pump a whole bunch in there and it will last. Believe it, inside of that hot environment, it'll stay there for a long time. But if you can put it on there so that it doesn't squeeze into the header, so you would apply it on not at the lip of the header, but back a little bit. And that stuff is flexible enough to where, especially on a KTM, you shouldn't have too many issues. And it's funny because I asked KTM, why isn't there a spring? Because I had this issue a while back, and they just saw no need to put an extra thing on there where the stock one, like I said, kind of has a spring, and I think that just keeps it in a certain different kind of compression. But yeah, that's what I would do, Todd. If it's really bothering you that much, but if your bike's carbureted, nice and lean like mine are, because they're mostly stock, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't make any difference. What is Nate?
Nate or Tater?
Nate or Tater.
That's a good name. Has anyone had any experience with the Shiroko 500 factory? Not too much info online.
I'm sure people have. I haven't. Shiroko, I have no contact with them whatsoever.
Yeah.
They have highly paid factory riders. They do well in rallies. They're all over the place, but I haven't seen a whole lot of credible tests on the bikes. And I mean, the Shirokos I rode a while back were definitely good. They were getting there. They were getting better, but I don't have any experience with them, but don't know anything about the Shiroko 500 factory. I'm sure they'll sell every one they make, and when they stop selling them and they start coming around, we'll test them.
Mm-hmm.
Or the bikes aren't that good and they won't have us test them.
Well, didn't you say we were actually on the topic of bikes that we haven't gotten? Didn't you mention we might be getting a Varg when they start coming to U.S.?
Somehow we got on the list.
Nice.
Yeah, we got on the list to actually test one. So it'd be nice.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. When that happens.
Right.
I don't want to say if that happens. I don't want to be that much of a Debbie Downer, but you're talking there's a lot of money and a lot of technology. And I asked someone I know who's on the waiting list, got any info from them? And they sent me a video of them like putting batteries in cases.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Well, I just don't see how they're gonna meet the manufacturing.
Well, they evidently had a lot of orders and there's a demand for it and all this. But if you think about it, you put $100 down on a $12,000, $14,000 purchase, and when it finally says, "Oh, we're here," like $100 isn't that in. You're like going, "Well, I don't have," because the economy was really good right when they announced. Everybody just got their stimulus check, so there's no problem just to rip off $100 from that and send it in and say, "I want one of these. I want to get in line." And I see a couple interesting things is that everybody wanted to get one and they thought they were going to be the guy that was going to get one. It was going to be unique. I'm going to be the first. And now you knew that there's 800 other people within a few hundred miles of you that also did this.
Right.
And so maybe you're not going to be as exclusive as you thought. And it's a lot of other things. But
actually, I had other news I saw today come up in my little headlines searching.
Right.
Can-Am's coming back to the motorcycle market with electric motorcycles.
Yes.
Yeah, I just
with retro kind of stuff, which is a perfect market for urban kind of things.
Yeah.
Park City ADV Dual Sport says, will Brabeck win his golf cart class in Vegas to Reno? I don't know. Maybe I'll go live on Dirt Bike Tests and ask him on. They're staying here on Thursday before they head to the start line. Guess who his co-driver is? If you know who his co-driver is, maybe that's worth a, like, we can give you a DBT T-shirt or something like that.
Ooh, I have a theory.
I've got to find somebody to send those things out. I fired all the kids. We have nobody to do. They didn't do anything anyways, so I still have to do it. The CBUSCAGL. What's
That's
that?
a mouthful.
Yeah, says, why hasn't KTM fixed the pointy, sharp air filter cage problem? I kind of think they have. So companies like Moto Minded. Actually, do you reach out to them? Are they sponsoring the show yet? Okay, good. So Moto Minded makes a nice thing that you drop on top of the air filter cage that is pointy. If you're using new air filters all the time and you're careful and all this stuff, it's not a problem. But I can see where if you're like me and you keep reusing air filters and you use like air filter oils like the Rock Oil synthetic water washable air filter fluid, which is actually kind of hard on the foam because it's got a lot of whatever in it. It can be hard on it and it can punch through. I've never had one punch through, but I think they did something to it, believe it or not. I haven't seen a 2022 or 3. I haven't pulled an air filter off one of those yet to see it, so I don't know. But I thought they did something. Dave Donnelly said it's me. No, it's Matt. Yeah. No, Moto Minded makes the piece. Yeah, Moto Minded makes the good little piece that you want to fix that problem. I think manufacturers, they don't really want to, but they always leave something for the aftermarket to fix. Because nobody wants to ride a stock motorcycle except for me.
Right.
I want to hop on a stock motorcycle and ride it and never have to touch
anything.
or do anything to it. It'd be so awesome if it was delivered to me. But the problem with most people is, unlike me, they're not perfect. And they build the motorcycle for the perfect person.
Yeah.
So at 5'10" and in my dreams 185 pounds, I'm perfect for most motorcycles. I fit right on them. Like I don't have long arms or extra short legs or any of these weird problems that regular people have. So it's on you. It's not they built the perfect bike, but you just don't fit it.
Well, I actually fit it because I'm about 5'10". 175-ish now. Pounds.
Right.
So
Bulking up.
most of them kind of bulking up. Most of them fit me pretty well right off the bat. But that's kind of an interesting. There's something you said that kind of brought up an interesting point in my mind is why is it that in like dirt bike culture or just kind of motorcycles, why is there this? It's almost seen as like lame to have a stock bike. Like it's cool to mod out your bike, and it's not even like unique mods.
No, there's nothing wrong with it's a dirt bike is it's an accessory item. It's not necessary. Like unless you're me, you don't ride dirt bikes for a living. Very few guys get to ride dirt bikes for a living.
Right.
And at that point, it's sort of like it's your hobby and it's your fun, and you want to customize. It's just like the hot rods back in the days, that hot rod culture. And if you didn't have any money, you'd pinstripe the thing, or you'd figure out a way to use a can for an air filter instead of the stock one, and you'd find and buy. So that's what's kind of going on. Right. There's a certain amount of customizing, and I see you waving your hand too, Bob. I see this. I'll get there. My ADD hasn't kicked in that hard yet, Tor. Oh, you're gonna forget your point too? Yeah. Alzheimer is sitting right next to you. So
It's dementia.
Dementia? Yeah.
So have them look at the car culture.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, I mean,
Isn't it amazing, Bob, how I start explaining things before you can even ask the question?
in the old days, if it wouldn't go, you chromed it.
Right.
Now you put carbon fiber on it.
Yeah, wrap it with carbon fiber. Or, get no, screw carbon fiber, print it, 3D print it.
Right. No,
Yeah, that's what we do now. Some stuff, but dirt bikes are it's that kind of thing. You can modify and tune and do different things, and a lot of stuff that it's some of it. A lot of it's not necessary, or you just feel like you have certain needs. And I mean, I get it. I've got a Yamaha 10RA 700.
Yeah,
brand new in the garage, mine. I own it, and I'm going to go through step by step each individual step. And I haven't had time to actually go ride it that much. I've just kind of ridden it down the street a few times, and it's totally 100% off the showroom floor, box stock. I'm going to go ride it, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the first thing that I really need to do. I know what it is already, and because just from riding the stock one, because we were at the intro, and we entered them at Glen Helen, believe it or not. That's where they met us, and we did a dual sport ride out of there. I got out the front gate, and I knew exactly what this was. And this hasn't changed. I mean, because the bike hasn't changed much. Mine is different because it has it's Euro 5 emissions, and so they've put a giant cat. They have 2 cats on it now. There's a giant cat in the front. But when I rode it around, it didn't seem like it changed anything. So I'm just going to go step by step, just because I want people to kind of learn that process. Like, how do you decide what you want to do? And there's stuff I want to do for no better reason than I think it's cool. It's going to make my bike look better, work better. I'm going to feel better about it.
right.
And if you do that for your bike, for whatever reason, you have an opinion and you have a reason for doing it. And I can't fault you for doing it. I'll tell you what I think, but it's not going to, unless you put a front disc guard on it. But I'm trying to get over it. I'm really trying to get over this. I've sought counseling.
Okay.
And they said, Jimmy, you need to be a little more positive. There might be something good for it. And I was thinking, like, you could invent a game where you put a target on the wall, you could throw them at it, and it'd make a nice sound.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's wait a minute. What did Todd say? It's the complete opposite. You guys, the elite dirt bikers, think it's lame to mod and give us crap for modding. No, I'm elite. Yeah, that's you got that right. But it's lame for.
He said
no,
he included me in the elite dirt bike guys.
No, he didn't. He was talking to me.
No, he said guys, plural. There's 2 guys here. Who else was he including?
Guys, it's you guys. Yeah.
See, he called me an elite dirt bike. Wait, hold on. The elite dirt bikes. Oh wait, the
you
dirt
guys,
bikes
the
are
elite
elite.
dirt bikes. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
I told you I modify. I modify my stuff too. Yeah. I have I have very few stock motorcycles because I do certain things to all of them just because I've learned that I like them. And my trajectory is I'll get a bike, especially a newer bike, and I'm trying to tune it up, and I'm going piece to piece, modifying, and I'll get to the point where I'll go over the top. And generally at that point, something I've done causes the bike to not perform well and or fail, or something goes wrong. You know what I do then?
What's that?
Sell it. And there's very few bikes that I've sold.
Right, with how many motorcycles you have now?
Yeah. So hey, Chris Reel comes in. Here's an expert, by the way, not like me. He says the big cat Euro 5s, Euro 5 cats flow really well, and with the big catalytic converters, the engine can have more fuel and they make more power. And that's coming from somebody. Should we bring Dave Donatoni onto the show live? Why not? Dave Donatoni, welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. You are live on the air.
Oh, wonderful.
You didn't even use the call-in line, which the Tech Talk Taco Tuesday hot seat hotline brought to you by Seat Concepts. You could have called in at 775-318-5515, and I would give you exactly as much crap on that line as you are on my live phone.
Well, at least I know that I get the same kind of treatment everywhere I go. Huh? That's kind of nice.
Yeah. So how can you have a motorcycle product related question that we can get to today?
Yeah, I was just kind of wondering about this radiator fan we've been talking about, and how I could maybe make it easier to put it on since the tank and seat are already off the bike.
Well, since the radiator fan brought to you by Trail Tech, by the way, Trail Tech, we got our hands. So Dave, just for no reason, went out and bought a 2022 KTM 300 XCW.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, cherry.
Whew.
Thing was sweet. And we got him in Chirby's tank.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's testing the new Chirby's tank. He got one that was a little bigger than we bargained for.
Okay.
Because the smaller one wasn't around, but it's in there. And we put some bulletproof designs radiator guards on before we bent the radiators, so they went right on. It took how long did it take me to mount those things, Dave?
Oh, maybe 10 minutes?
10 minutes. Yeah.
Wow.
Just on and off, simple.
Nice.
So and now I acquired the why is the tank and seat off?
Oh, I'm wiring in my GPS unit.
Oh, you're putting the Montana on there.
I've got the Montana going on there.
Well, it's gonna all come back off because actually we're gonna run dual. We're gonna run both Trail Tech Voyager Pros so we can buddy track because you are my buddy.
That's true. I'm your buddy.
You're my wingman on this ride we're going on. We're gonna do like 6 days. We're gonna go 6 days riding someplace.
Yeah. Are you doing the full tour of Idaho or
No, we're not going to the tour of Idaho, and we're not talking about where we're going.
Oh, okay.
We're going riding for 6 days. We're gonna go riding really awesome places, and so don't worry about it. It'll take another 10 minutes for me to get this fan on. They're really easy. They plug in. They're basically plug and play on the because I think if you'll look under your gas tank, you're gonna see there's a white plug that's just not doing anything there. It's kind of wrapped up with kind of a long lead.
Okay.
That'll plug right into the Trail Tech thing. We just slide it on there, put a couple screws into it, and they have a little template on there. It's gonna be 10 minutes.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah. So and at the same time we have the seat off. I'm gonna wire in the little wire for the Voyager Pro.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna run dual
GPSs because I don't think I looked at the files that we got today for the ride we're doing, and there's color coordination, and I don't think that Casey just texted me and said no telling, just for fun.
Yeah, no, I saw they were color coordinated, and I'm like, I'm going to use the GPS I'm used to, but I'll run the buddy system too, so you can see how far ahead I am.
Oh,
nice.
How far? Okay, yeah. I know. I was riding probably for one of the few times ever. The other time we were riding, you were riding in front.
Yeah,
that was weird.
I was. I bet you that felt really weird to you.
It did actually. Well, it was like, hey, it was your ride, your bike, and I'm like, I'll just kind of hang back and we'll see how everything works out. So I don't mind riding behind. I just stay out of the dust. It's all good. Then you realize how slow I really am when I'm not just dusting you out the whole time, right?
And it doesn't seem like the speed changes too much.
So. Well, cool. I will give you a call after the show, but it's probably past your bedtime.
Yeah, probably getting close to bedtime for me. Although I might be up for a little longer. I'm still in the shop, so you never know what might happen after this.
Right. Well, to have your girlfriend give you the review of our show. Hey, wonder what? Actually, I'm on because I grabbed my phone.
Yeah.
I'm on whatever they call this thing, Instagram Live, up my chin.
Oh wow.
So I've got you in my pocket now. It's like up my.
Now
chin.
I got you in my nose hairs.
Yeah. See.
The newest, latest, greatest
my
version.
My mole right here looks really good on the grams upside down right now.
Wow, look at that! Our viewership is dropping.
Well, no, they don't see this. Let me see how many we've got on this thing. I'll turn it upside down here. Oh, I don't know. It's too hard to figure this technology out. I'm planning on suing Instagram right now. That's and Facebook and all the other YouTubes.
Yeah,
I gotta get a good lawyer. So right on, Dave. Well, it sounds good. I will talk to you tomorrow, and we'll go from there.
All right, Jimmy. Thanks for putting me on live.
Thanks for being on the Seat Concepts Jimmy's Phone hotline.
There we go.
Okay. See ya. Okay. So I'm going to sign off of here on the
Instagram Live?
Instagram Live. So I'm going to sign off of there.
Okay.
So in now, yeah, we're going to, because I don't think anyone wants to see anymore.
So while you're doing that, have we talked about the Rocky Mountain and Amazon links?
No, you should talk about that.
So if you go on dirtbiketest.com, there's a little thing on the menu now. It says support DBT. You click that option, and it gives you our Amazon affiliate links and our Rocky Mountain affiliate links as well. You can click on that, and we get a small slice of whatever you purchase, and it really helps us out.
It really does help out. And just so you know, that one of the kids that I fired, he's going to get the increase in this month. So if you're going to make some big purchases, go do it this month.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna give the increase because I challenged him to do it, even though Matt probably did all the work.
No, he gave me the idea and kind of gave me some good feedback.
That's good. Yeah.
He was pretty proactive about it.
That's strange. All I do is yell at him. Yeah, Cletus or Cooper, or whichever one that was, one of those guys. They roll through here like cordwood. You just stack them up and then ship it off and sell them. Yeah. So kind of like slaves, but we're not allowed to do that anymore. But I just use the young kids around here. We need more.
Yeah.
We need to find more.
We need to find more. Maybe we just put out like a job posting.
Oh, you don't just go capture them?
No.
I chase them down on dirt bikes. I literally chase them down on dirt bikes. Like, hey kid, what are you doing? And then enslave them to come over here. It's like, hey, look, I got all these cool dirt bikes. You know, you want to wash dirt bikes, pick up dirt bikes at my school. So it's a little bit of that. So, anyways, hey, if you have questions you want to call in and ask them live, you can do that. Our number again is 775-318-5515. We got Maddox answering the phones. He will say hi and actually talk to you a little bit. It won't be just calling into a void. So you can do that. And there's a lot of information. If you're wondering, like when we start talking about what's going on in the chat, a lot of times the chat pops up in the corner of the feed. Sometimes there's some good questions kind of going up in there, and I have to put my whatever this Instagram live is. I gotta do that, and I'm sure Victor's giving me a hard time. I wish I could remember the name of someone that I learned at the other bar.
Jimmy, you're on the spectrum.
That's the other thing. Okay. Next question, Matt. Hey, Seat Concepts, since 2009, has been doing handmade seat products made in the USA. They have styles available in a variety of options, low to tall heights, narrow to wide profiles. They have a proprietary formula that is adjusted for each customer based on your riding style, weight, and firmness preference. They're designed and built for long-haul adventure rides to people that are riding their bikes on the track. And I'll tell you something else that I just found out that's really good news to me. If you are a Husaberg 70-degree owner, they are bringing back that part SKU. They're going to build seats for that because they know that there's a demand.
From the Call-In
and
Studio web.
They want my Husaberg army to join. And so when they have a big, like they're going to get 800 orders tomorrow, because I know all the people here are all 570 riders. It's just like our little club. Mm-hmm. I'm getting one of my seats rebuilt that actually was kind of going to crap. You need to have your seat base, your stock seat base, and they can do the foam and the cover for it. So go to seatconcepts.com and get a Husaberg seat. And Aaron Long has a question.
Why do you dislike the 690 Enduro so much?
How do you know that? Like, where is it? You heard about that from watching old episodes, Aaron, or do I just look like a person that hates the 690?
we should maybe have a shirt that's like 690 tiers. Because there's like I Heart KTM tiers. Now it's I Heart 690 tiers. It's just one of those things. It's kind of like I love Husaberg 570s. Mm-hmm. You know what's really strange is that motor, that KTM 690 motor, that big single, could possibly put out a very good power delivery. Man, I'm almost saying it's really good. Like I'm comparing it to Husaberg. Yeah.
It is. So that motor is really good. I've always liked the motor for a big 4-stroke single. It's like the XR650 you dreamed of. Like when I rode a factory XR650 motor, I wished it ran like a KTM 690.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem was it was carbureted.
Yeah.
If you could get the fuel injection onto, I'm sure you could make those things work like this. But then they take that really nice motor, and then they throw it in this chassis that doesn't do anything very well. And the chassis is the limiting factor because you have a really short shock on it, and the gas tank's in a strange location out back in the rear. And if you want to put bigger tanks on them, you have to hang them off the side. There's a lot. It's just a really confused bike. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like an XR400 that I loved and hated. It's just there's certain things that, you know, they could have done. They should have just never made the 690 and just kept making Husaberg 570s. That's what they should have done. That's why I'm bitter, because Husaberg 570s are now like gone.
Yeah.
That's why, Aaron. It's because I feel like that KTM thought they could do it better than Husaberg, even though they stole everything that they know from Husaberg with four strokes.
Well, speaking of KTM 690s, Victor
Yeah.
Andrade, 2016 KTM 690, riding for 30 minutes, stop for any reason, turn it off, then try to start. Just cranks and it doesn't fire. Wait 5 minutes and that starts right up. Checked air filter, it was clean. It does this all the time.
I think Chris had a really good answer in here, and it has something to do with the evaporative emissions system. And my truck does this sometimes. Like when I fill my truck all the way up tip top, you know, I'm trying to really top the tank off.
Yeah.
And it's hot out here, and and gas boils and stuff like that. Sometimes it just cranks and cranks and cranks. It takes a long time for it to finally, because the evaporative, there's a lot of stuff going into that charcoal canister and stuff, and it could be all the way up to, it's like if you tip it over. You know when you tip a bike over and it floods?
Mm-hmm.
Like in the carbureted bikes, because the gas would spill into the intake track, and you have to hold it wide open and clean it out. I think there might be some of that, and I think that's what Chris was talking about. He said the same thing. But a lot of times, if it just, you know, just the heat, it'll kind of clean itself out, or, you know, cranking it a few times will cycle it through. But a lot of times, and it depends on the way they've designed the fuel injection system, because sometimes if you do turn it wide open, it pumps a lot more gas in there.
Mm-hmm.
But some bikes recognize, hey, he's trying to clean it out, you know, and a lot of times that means holding it wide open to clean it out. Then it doesn't, on a startup, it doesn't spit any fuel inside of there. So Aaron, yeah, he was listening to old episodes. Thank you very much, Aaron, for
Supporting us.
supporting us, listening to old episodes.
Yeah, that's cool.
And hate is a strong word, but I hate that bike. No.
Is there ever been a
you know,
bike?
it's Mark Kaplikoff from Baja Diaries. He really lit that fire under me. I mean, because I've always said it, and I always knew that I wasn't just never a fan of the bike in general. I rode them when they very first came out. I said, man, what a bitchin' motor. What the hell were you thinking when you built this chassis? Because it had they kind of sold it to us. They said, look, we've used the rally style trellis chassis. And I'd ridden their factory rally bikes, both twin and single cylinder. And I'm like, why? and I'm not saying, yeah, because I was a factory BMW rider, and yeah, we had something different, and like our cylinders stuck out to the side. But I never, those rally bikes, I never really liked the way that they handled. I didn't like I wasn't really sure about what they were trying to achieve there. And so anyways, they said, oh yeah, we got this trellis chassis, and I'm like, kind of like in my head, I'm going, why? And then but then I saw the length of the shock, and I know how hard it is to control like a long travel bike with a very short shock, difficult, and
Right.
and then riding it confirmed sort of what I'd felt, and it was just an interesting bike. So sorry, Aaron, he's probably an owner. You need to get your KTM 690 army to raid this show and just destroy me.
Yeah,
Just
spam
share
in the
it.
chat.
Yeah, spam the chat, and maybe you can convert me.
So there's something I want. There's something you said though. I caught on it and it made me wonder: has there ever been a bike that you've truly hated? Like there was no saving it. It was you just wrote it back to the engineers and say, go back to the drawing board. And I should say like production bike.
I remember the one.
What was it?
It was that bike that was going to be the big breakthrough bike from a big manufacturer. And
The
it never-
big.
it never came to pass because
So we're talking about some bike that I rode at some point. It was a pre-production or it was prototyping.
yeah,
Is this something I can talk about or not?
I don't know what your
How-
NDA is with them.
How long ago?
Before the 650R came out.
Before this? Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I can't talk about that. Not allowed to talk about that.
But
because it's a big company. Yeah. That bike I didn't ride that one.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, I was going to ride it, but it injured everybody else. It broke
no.
it literally broke other people. Unfortunately I was kind of involved like in that one, like kind of when the idea started festering. I was there. I kind of helped fester the idea because I had some bikes that one of the main guys like got to ride, and so one of them was an ATK 604. So this is back a while, and that had that single sided frame, which was really kind of weird. And another one was the Italian Husky with the single big rounded backbone. And then the good one that I somehow think was a Husaberg that had a kind of a conventional chassis, and the suspension on the Husaberg at the time was kind of a little bit off. But somehow I think the other person that rode all these that got to make a decision later on about like the direction, I think they got confused. Like they didn't remember what they rode. sort of thing. I mean, an ATK, a Husky, and a Husaberg. Like, what's the difference? I mean, there's a lot of difference, but so yes, yeah, that bike never came around. It stopped like it came. It like they had like I think 3 different ones or something. So yeah, yes, Bob.
Well, it was the single down tube thing. The Swedes gave up on that a decade earlier.
Yeah. So there's a certain flex characteristic that comes with the single thing, and one bike would always ricochet off to one side, the other one would ricochet in a direction you had no idea which direction it was going to go, and the other one went straight and true. The suspension was just horrible, and everybody knew which the best motor was. And at that time, believe it or not, it was not the Husaberg, because the Husaberg was kind of this was a Swedish-made Husaberg, and it was a little bit still rough. Where the Husky guys, which were the Italians, that they finally polished that 510. They got that thing pretty good. I think we weren't electric start yet. We were still kicking them, but they tuned it. But man, those are. I mean, that was cool to be able to ride all that stuff back then and see. I liked it when people tried different things. I mean, I have no problem with you trying a different stuff, but. Hey, the 690's still going, and it's been how many years, and they still sell a ton of them, so I'm wrong there, by the way. Got another question there, Matt?
Yeah, so from Utah Desert Rider, why do bikes with TPI KTM 2-strokes lose low-end feel as compared to the carb 2-strokes?
Boy, that's a interesting question, but I don't think you're phrasing it right. So lose low-end feel. So you're talking about snap. Is what I think you're trying to describe. And this is the thing. This is an interesting thing about like when we talk about if you're like a test rider or you're a guy that gets a bike and you have an opinion, you know what it is, but how do you back when there was such thing as motorcycle journalism, we actually tried to be consistent in the way that we talked about things. So like I don't think it loses low end. It loses snap. So like low end power, I think is kind of the same. Like the power between fuel injection and carburation is the same. It's the way that the power is delivered that's substantially different. And the reason that they lose that snap or what it is when you turn the throttle, no matter where you turn the throttle on the fuel injected bike, it sends in we'll call a very perfect amount of fuel for the air. It's very consistent. When you go on a carburetor and you take it and you turn the throttle, it takes a second, I don't want to say a second, but it takes a little while for that the vacuum to suck enough gas out of the needle jet, out of the nozzle to catch up. And that's why, tuning the slide and tuning the pilot jet and tuning the fuel screw and all these things, it's an analog reaction that's actually amazingly good at what it does. right whenever you make a throttle change, which now in fuel injection terms is called a transient, when you change your throttle, they do this on a computer, on a dyno that's a computer that sniffs it, and it figures out the perfect air-fuel ratio based on the temperature, based on the pressure, based on all their testing, where the carburetor takes a second to get it pretty close. And there's a hesitation, and then it gives it to you. So that hesitation that you feel is what people start calling snap. And since it kind of goes brap, it kind of pops to life, people equate that as power. Generally, especially like just let's say if you're in the sand and you're on a KTM TPI bike and you turn the throttle, it feels kind of sluggish.
Mm-hmm.
And the amazing thing is you can also turn the throttle farther and snap the clutch, and it will not be sluggish. But everybody just kind of goes, well, I'm just turning the throttle and nothing happens. But the exact opposite happens when you're in like a traction compromise situation and you go turn the throttle, and then it gives you that snap, and it breaks traction, and then it's good and bad. So this is the way that I think that it's how it's described and what it is. I don't think there's a difference in power. It's how the power is delivered, and like when people they always ask, hey, I'm going to get the smart carb or the what's the other carb? The
Electron,
the smart carb Electron, which somehow is less snappy than a Kean or Mikuni.
Mm-hmm.
Mikuni is more snappy than a Kean most of the time. And we're talking if everything's jetted perfect, but it's not that hard for someone to have bad jetting, and then that snapping even gets more prolific.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's more power, or they put a different pipe on it and the jetting's off, so it goes brrrah, and they go, oh yeah, I got it. Bingo, I won. Decker is checking in from his garage working on the bike. I think I know that guy. He has a lemming line of people following him.
Huh.
Hey, I want to ask everybody that's in our chats and stuff like that, where is everybody checking in from? It'd be awesome to kind of see where everybody's out there and where you're from. And Bobby Moonboot says the 2023 YZ450F release is tomorrow. I should probably know this, but I've been out riding. Journalist.
I'm still
Actually,
on the email list.
I don't think I got anything that told me that there was an embargo or anything like that. Usually I get that kind of stuff, but maybe they think I'm a dual sport rider now.
Maybe. But
since Yamaha doesn't make a dual sport bike, they didn't talk to me.
It is getting close to
everybody else's. We've already ridden the 23 Honda.
Yeah.
So.
Well, oh yeah, or the 23 Honda rode me.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Central Ventura, California, Utah. We're big in Utah, I guess.
in California.
Yeah, and Victor's from Mexico. Actually, he's just lying. He's trying to establish residency in California. Michigan, Eastern Pennsylvania. Wow,
actually,
late.
If you look at the analytics, right, we actually some of our biggest traffic is from Pennsylvania.
Really?
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I'm trying to think. I know I've been to like the High Point National. I think we used to fly into Pennsylvania, and I'm trying to think if I did any enduros there. It's hard. All those states back there, they just like
blend together.
Yeah, they kind of blend together. You got a lot of like windy highways. You don't have these big long straightaways where you can see mountains. All you see is just green tunnels of trees.
Yeah,
which is kind of similar to the riding there.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're in green tunnels of trees with like little ups and downs, and then there's green tunnels of trees with sand hoop used. That's usually Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Green tunnels of trees with just rocks. That's Ohio. Like slick rocks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Ohio.
Alaska is just mud. It's not.
Betterdorf, Iowa. Just got back from cutting enduro trail for our enduro coming up in October. Hey, Dave, that's awesome.
That's really good.
I super like it when guys are out doing trail work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And somebody's from my mom's house, New York, not near New York City. That's good, Jim. So you're near Unadilla, I would think.
Is that the national coming up?
I think it is.
I think it is.
Yeah, I've raced a national there.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I've gone to national there. We rode the track the day after.
Mm-hmm.
I got to ride a GNCC there, which was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
because we got to ride most of the national track, like probably 80% of it, and they had some good woods, really good wood stuff around there. I almost got in trouble because I found out it was an AMA rule that you're not allowed to have a horn on your race bike.
Oh.
And I was riding a Husky dual sport bike that came stock equipped with a horn, and I guess I used it too much during the race. I overhauled the morning morning race.
Nice.
And then almost got disqualified. But that was back when I was fast. I do all my riding in PA forests. That's good.
Cool.
So yeah, Rusty Nail says Unadilla is Saturday.
Sweet.
I need the racing to come back on. Well, actually,
I've been. It feels a lot longer than just a couple weeks.
right. We don't talk about it here, but I do miss and I watch racing, and Formula One's on a break right now too, which is like so. It just and the good thing is it did rain.
Mm-hmm.
It did rain, and it rained on the weekends. Or right by the weekend. So usually when I would like do my binge watching, and it was cool enough to actually go out and go riding. So thank God it rained. Oh, we needed it bad.
Hopefully we get more.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah. Hey, I think it's maybe it's time for an ad break.
Yeah. So everybody, thanks for telling us where you're at. Marina del Rey. I think that's in California, spelled with a K also. And somebody says I can watch Vegas to Reno. That's not a very good spectator sport. Actually, they completely discourage it, by the way, because they have so many issues with permits and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on a Friday, so they don't want to kind of impede normal recreation people that are out there, because it goes a long way, and there's a lot of people.
Right.
Spanish Fork, Utah, Inland Empire. It's got people from everywhere. Kingston, Nevada. Dean Kemp. Dean, you need to reach out to me. Because I've been trying to remember, I forget names.
Yeah.
I remember Dean now. He's come to the class a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah, Dean, reach out to me via email. I got some cool stuff for you. So, okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick commercial break. For Matt Mattoon, this is Jimmy Lewis. We'll be back in a few minutes to do our favorite segment,
Rooster Endo, brought to you by Takamoto.
Takamoto's Rooster Endo. Yeah, and then I think we're going to shut down the Seat Concepts Hot Seat Hotline.
Yep, that's going to be done for the night.
Yep. So remember, get your questions next week. I think we're taking a break next week.
Yeah, we're taking a break next week.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to start trying to get some prizes for callers, some cool stuff for the callers. So we're working on it. Just
takes time.
Got to get the sponsors cultivated. So, okay. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
What's up, Moto Buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. What is the Taco Touch? It's the best service in the industry. Virtually 24/7 tech support via email or text, and it's like having a dirt bike doctor on call every day of the year, helping you fix your bike or recommend parts or setups for you. If you've ever received an order from us, you know that the Taco Touch extends to our fulfillment, and our orders come with the coolest stickers that you've ever had, buying parts from anybody before, and a handful of root beer barrel candies. All of our Taco Moto Co. branded components come with a no questions asked lifetime warranty, and we'll even extend out the warranty of other manufacturers, OEM, and aftermarket parts where we can, sometimes for life. We test and tune endlessly and exhaustively and obsessively. We're trying to destroy everything that we can before you get your hands on it, to look for weaknesses and to improve it, or to make recommendations to the manufacturer. And if it's something that doesn't meet grade, then we don't offer it on the store. Everything that we carry is something that we have personally used, tested, and ridden, and raced, and knows meets the high Taco Touch demanding standard. Go out and get some adventure.
Since 2009, Seat Concepts has been dedicated to making the best aftermarket seats. More comfort, more grip, more riding. For 10 years, we've continued to raise the bar. Innovation and American craftsmanship make Seat Concepts the world-leading manufacturer of power sports seats.
Welcome back to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, second half of the show. This is the best half, right, Matt?
Oh, it is the best half because it features...
We have Rooster Endo. This is where you send in a picture of your bike, you tell us the make, model, and year, and then we criticize you.
Or praise you.
Very unlikely.
Mostly criticize.
Yeah. So
That's why you like us, though, right, guys?
Yeah, we're trying to keep it professional around here. Hey, before we get to that, two things. Number one, the product of the week that we're going to talk about.
Ooh.
Something that I have tested, although this is brand new. Look at how I'm holding it up so nobody can see what it is.
Yeah.
It's
suspense.
brand new in the box because it's going to go on one of my other bikes. It's the Bulletproof Designs swing arm protector.
There we go.
And everybody says, well, what is this? So
switch to...
Yeah, so it's this little piece, and I have one here for my KTM, and I have one here for the YZ250 FX.
Being installed Friday.
It will. Oh, is that what's going on Friday?
Yeah, I'm going to stay out here. We're going to do some stuff.
Good. So these little dealy bobs, basically, we'll call it triangulate, for lack of a better word, the tabs on your swing arm where your chain guide hooks up. And so a lot of times we run beefier, better chain guides, and or you're just running your chain guide through rocks or things. And when it goes wrong, it breaks the tab off.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've ridden a lot of factory bikes, and I don't know of one real factory bike that I've ever ridden that didn't have a very well constructed, welded on, beefed up thing to help it. But you probably don't have the ability to weld your swing arm and make sure that you don't wreck the heat treating and all this other stuff. And those guys actually don't care about it. Actually, if it broke, they wouldn't care that it broke. They just don't want a failure during the race.
Mm-hmm.
But this little part is a way to give you that kind of strength with a bolt-on part. And there's the ability to also, you can just bolt it on and it'll strengthen up, but you can also bolt it on, drill and tap up into the swing arm, and really stabilize that piece. Now it's gonna help 90% of the time, but if you really whack something, like if you have a front disc guard and you go over the handlebars, it could bend something else. But anyways, really good part. I have them on a few of my different bikes, and they work. Because when you take bolts out that don't come out straight, they go,
yeah,
and come out like all crooked, and you go, wow, lucky that load got transferred to the other bolt that's now coming out, go like this, and you go, wow, it did its job. And you see the dings that your chain guide takes, especially if you're riding the rocks. A super good product. Our friends at Bulletproof. bulletproof designs. I always say I go get in billet because the
Yeah.
stuff they make it's billet. Look at it. It's a nice looking part.
Yeah.
I would take it out of the thing and hold it up and show it, but there's hardware in there. You hear it jingling.
Yeah, I can hear it.
And
Just can see it
the
getting
worst
lost.
thing ever is when you open something up and it doesn't have all the parts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing. Another thing, a good friend of the show, Chris Real. I like to say Real sometimes because, you know, that's the Mexican in me. Because, you know, we like California. I grew up in California, and I may have been a Mexican immigrant or something like that. Real. Camino Real. Yeah. Yeah. So he was asking me to talk a little bit and discuss a little bit about some of the safety beacons, you know, different things that we use when we're out riding. I ride a lot by myself, and just different things you do, or you ride with a group and you just want to be tracked and stuff, and just some of the procedures and things we use. I use an InReach. I'm a fan of the InReach. Some of my friends use Spots. There's a couple newer systems that are out there. These are satellite connected. Did you get the Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna update it here.
Okay, update it. Yeah, these are satellite connected devices that track you essentially and allow some form of two-way communication depending on which device it is and how it works. And it's kind of doesn't matter which device you're using. You know, if you're connected and you can get a signal out and stuff, okay, that's good. I think some are better than others. This one uses a satellite network I'm a little more confident in than the one that the Spot uses. And the the rate plan for this one works better for me. So, like, I feel safe when I have this with me as much as I can. So what this is for me is now you know where the body's at when something goes wrong.
Right.
Okay, this is how I treat this. Just because I have this does not mean I can do anything extra unsafe or whatever. I'm not going to go ride a bike that I don't feel confident and it's going to get me back. Although sometimes I do. I did it last week. I rode a bike that had a ticky.
Oh.
We talked about the ticky.
Oh, no. Yeah.
We talked about it on the show, right? Did we talk about ticky? Yeah. Talked about ticky. But I had this with me, and I knew I had a good network of friends that if ticky started did what you did.
Yeah. I'm getting flashbacks right now.
Help would be like 120 meters away. Like it was for you. If you would have just shut that damn bike down, I would actually, you know what would have been better if, this is the best part about that, if you would have shut it down, said this thing's really ticky, I probably would have rode it and blown it up.
Yeah.
Because we at that point we couldn't figure out where ticky. Kind of sounds like the turbo problem you're having over there, Maddox. But you sent it. You blew it up. Yeah. Good on you. So Maddox is your call screener if you ever call into our Seat Concepts hot seat hotline. But anyways, back to the InReach. So forget what the device is. What you have to have with a thing like this is a plan. Number one, it doesn't work if nobody's following you. So if you're like me and you have no friends and nobody cares and watches it, you can die out in the desert. And then when they finally come, at least it's ticking and then you can come get the body. But you ideally, when you go out and ride alone, you should have somebody that's kind of watching you. Luckily, most people that have friends, they have their friends are stuck at their desk job when your kind of cool job is to go ride motorcycles all the time. And they always like, oh, I wonder what Jimmy's doing. And so they have this. They have my share page up and they have it screen. And every once they'll check, where's Jimmy at? Oh, look, he's moving. You know, and as long as Jimmy's moving, it's all good. But if it stops moving, we have a rule. It's a 20-minute rule. And if I decide to stop for 20 minutes, more than 20 minutes, and I don't send an okay message, it's essentially an SOS because these have SOS built into it. So there's a certain amount of thing like it stops moving, and I have the 2-minute tracking. Andrew Short showed me. Like he's like, hey, it's worth it, you know, the extra $20, $30 a month, whatever, as opposed to the 10-minute tracking. So you can actually see when I stop. You can really see it. And so there's some people that might be paying attention to it and they see it stop and you know, within 20 minutes I'll send an okay and they see an okay, it's no big deal. So there you have to actively have somebody kind of tracking you, watching your tracking to make it worth anything. in a kind of an emergency situation. So when there's an emergency situation, then how's your setup? Who's the main contact person? Because there's 4 or 5 people that have that tracking.
Mm-hmm.
Who do they contact? What's the next series? And then we have a way that we push certain notification buttons and I could do a whole show on exactly how to do this and how to set it up on our thing, which has been very successful. But there's, like I said, different things. But the Chris's other question was, what do you do for like when shit really hits the fan?
Mm-hmm.
Again, it comes down to the quality people that you have on the backside of this device. Who's on the other side watching where this is doing, and how do they know how to react? Like, what's their MO? Because if I push the SOS button on this, like the one that everybody buys it for, I want to push this help, none of my contacts get that message. It goes straight to the emergency contact group, whatever it is. And then they see where you're at, and then they contact the search and rescue, sheriff's department, fire department, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the first thing they do, because I know, because I've on accident activated my SOS beacon.
Oh, shit.
My phone rings.
Uh-huh.
If I'm in cell phone range.
Right.
And most of the time when I'm using this and you're not, that's the reason I have it, is I'm not in cell phone range. If I'm not in cell phone range, I can be tracked through my phone.
Mm-hmm.
People have my phone tracking and they can ping it. The same thing. So you're out of range, and then they contact you. They'll SOS. They try contacting the primary device holder. If they can't get a hold of you, they start sending messages back to this because they want to know if it's a false one or whatever.
Yeah.
And then this thing starts lighting up. It beeps and does all this stuff. And I've never used it in an emergency, but when I've activated on accident, then I know that, hey, they're trying to get a hold of you, and if you don't respond, then they send in the forces, the cavalry. They do whatever they need to do, and I've heard it's been successful for a few people. We've had, with our system, we've recovered a few people that have had problems. One guy actually broke his back out riding, fell over, broke his back, and he knew something was wrong. He was okay. He ended up being okay, but his wife was watching him and says, she called a few of the people, hey, he's not moving, whatever. It's like, well, he shouldn't be there. That's not a good spot. He's not moving. Something's wrong. So they sent somebody out there, and the reason that he didn't do anything, he knew something was messed up and he couldn't reach.
Oh, really?
To get his, it was in his backpack.
Right.
And so he wasn't able to move to get it, but it stopped moving, and then we reacted to it. So that's the first thing. So and he never did an SOS, so they never would have said they would have come and found the body if he didn't have friends that were watching it. They would have found the body a few days later after he starved it, or bear came and ate him, whatever happens.
Right.
But so it's a tool. It's all how you use it, and then one step next is like, then what do you do? Like, if something really goes wrong, most of these devices will offer you some sort of a supplemental insurance program that you can purchase that will pay for you can get $100,000 of excess insurance, and it's cheap. It's like $20 a year.
Oh, shit.
If they have to send, and I don't know the current prices. I sign up for it on this one. But they pay for, the search and rescue or whatever has to come in, and it depends on the county and the state you're in and where you're at. Like, sometimes that's county provided or city provided or state provided. In some states, there's nothing. You're going to pay for the helicopter they fly in to come and get you. So the extra insurance kind of helps with that. And then above and beyond that, do you have some sort of a medical reparation? If you have to be transported, do you have a policy that allows you to get transported back to a hospital, or are they just going to let you sit in the operating room with your, they'll cut your legs off and just go, okay, well, we're done with you. You can walk home now.
Yeah.
So, Bob's raising his hand.
What do you think of the Garmin system?
The Garmin system.
Yeah, they're sat like that.
This InReach is now Garmin.
Oh, it is.
I hate to say Garmin because I'm not really stoked on it's kind of like Apple. I mean, they have they keep a lot of stuff proprietary, and so it's the software, whatever, doesn't work. Some things are really good about it, but I wasn't stoked because this is actually a DeLorme.
Oh,
when Delorme, yeah, owned this. And this is how old this unit is. And it's actually doing some funky stuff, and I need to replace it. Actually, I might replace it before I go riding next week. But, yeah, so have a tracker. That's the thing. And Victor has a very good question. What if stop at the Bunny Ranch, and you stay more than 20 minutes? Well, then I'm probably broke. If I stopped at the Bunny Ranch. Yeah, I could be broke.
Yeah.
20 minutes, that'd be more than I make in a year here at this show.
Mortgage, not rentals.
Yeah, it's, it's the best thing ever.
I use that in regular conversation.
Did you tell your mom you went on a tour there?
Oh, yeah.
Not at the Bunny Ranch.
No. At
the other
Sherry's.
Sherry's Ranch. Yeah.
I told her about the tour. I told her how good the burgers were, and she said, that's very neat, but I'm not going there.
Oh. It's a mortgage payment, not a
rental.
Not a rental.
or is it not utilities?
Yeah, it's the mortgage payment, not the utility bill.
Yeah, there we go.
That's the United States. It's not Mexico, Victor. So so Chris Reel says, I don't like to ride by myself, but I go on solo test rides and would feel better if I could ping out to someone. Prototype bikes have a mind of their own. Oh, you're telling me. Hey, my bikes have a mind of their own. Hey, Chris, and for sure, if you want to get like more in depth on this, give me a call and we can go over it. And because we've between some of the ding dongs that I ride around with, and as long as we've been doing this, we have a pretty good system. And I would have no problem when I'm stuck in front of my computer being one of your buddies, and then maybe I can actually get a friend to pay attention to my pinging.
I've had to pay attention to your pinging before.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, I told you. I said this could be a problem, right?
Yeah.
I went riding on something, and I said, hey, you need to pay attention to this.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, there's to a certain area and back.
There's certain times that we know that, like, this is like, you have to pay attention in case something goes wrong. And it wasn't like go wrong like I could crash. That could always happen. But like mechanically, we thought there could be an issue, and I had a backup network, which is it's prior proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. That's 7 P's.
Mm-hmm.
My good friend, ex-factory mechanic Dave Chase, God bless his soul, he got COVID before there was COVID. Like he got some kind of crazy thing that caught him off guard. What was it? N1H1. Yeah. If we would have just had better social media at that time, we could have made the same shitstorm out of that, I think. I don't like to talk about political stuff, but how's the monkeypox going, Matt?
It's, they're getting vaccines out.
Right. Okay. So do we have Rooster Endos?
Yeah, we do have Rooster Endos.
Okay. It's brought to you tonight by
Takamoto.
And tonight, this is for Mark Daniels. Go ahead and hit my camera. Go straight up on mine there. Mark, this is tonight's special thing. This is Loma Azul. This is currently my favorite price versus taste versus everything. Thank you to, I'll move it out of the way of my face. I got to figure out which way the cameras work. This other side is like pretty trippy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Loma Azul. I'm trying to get out of the lights. Chris Parker turned me onto this from Rottweiler.
Really?
Yeah, he surprisingly, where's the which one? Oh, I'm at that one.
Yeah.
Got it. This whole show is run by one iPhone.
Pretty much.
That's all you need to be on the internet these days. So this is the best bang for the buck, high quality tequila. I recommend it. You need to talk to them about sponsorship.
Okay.
I have a beer company that potentially we could work on.
Really?
Yeah. Got an inside line the other day.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'd be interested. Yeah, let's get her going because that'd be cool.
Sounds good. Okay, so this is the segment brought to you by Takomoto.co, Takomoto.co, not com, co.
Mm-hmm.
You go there if you have, especially a Husky or a KTM or a gas, or even a Honda. They're doing the other brands now as well, and you want to modify that thing. They have everything for it. Really good customer service. A lot of awesome explanation videos that Taco Mike Spurgeon, gives his opinion on. He runs a really good Facebook group. I think we stream live to there.
Yeah, we're still streaming live
the
there.
EXE FE Performance Group. And I have to say that on that group, by the way, if you're not in that Facebook group, you can go check that thing out. You get really good answers to questions, kind of like here, but it comes from a lot of different sources. And a couple weeks ago, I kind of came down on them because there's so many guys throwing up, like, we'll call it fake news, or just I want to comment. I can say something, and they say something about it, and you post something. And I did the other week. I posted something up because I had a problem that I really didn't know, and I thought maybe somebody's had the same problem before about my tick. And it's like, go in there, ask your question, identify the people that give you good advice, and then we can start ignoring the ones that just chatter it up. But if somebody's giving you good advice, and these ways, hopefully these things, like their comments for sure, let them rise to the top, and you can get some
clout.
Yeah, give them some clout. But then, take the effort. If you're going in there and getting free advice, like, we don't ask you to do much on this show, although you could share it with your buddies or tell your buddies about it or like it or do whatever you do on those things. It would help. I mean, it really does help for those artificial intelligences.
For the algorithms to figure out
that watch what we
people
do.
Like us. Yeah,
it would help in that, so it grows a little bit. But you're getting this stuff for free. But then again, like, free is not free. You have to listen to an ad. You have to listen to me talk about Yamaha, which I like. Takamoto sponsors our next segment. Scott Sports. I'm wearing their goggles all the time. The amplified lenses.
Yeah,
incredible. Climb. I'm going to be testing some new Climb gear.
Oh, testing it.
Testing some new stuff. Like
dirt bike test or
no. Prototype stuff.
Nice.
Like they I can't talk about exactly which gear line it is, but the gear line's really good, and they're going to send me some stuff that they think is going to be better.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, wow, that's a leap. But this is where the stuff goes. So DDC, our original sponsor, they make awesome chain wheels, and I'm replacing a bunch of chains, and I have DDC sprockets that look brand new, if that tells you anything.
Yeah.
They last a long time. Trail Tech, running Voyager Pros with my buddy Dave, my wingman. We're going to know where everybody's at because of buddy tracking. Fasst Company, flex handlebars. My wrists, love them. Seat Concepts, they brought you the hot seat hotline, and they make Husaberg 570 seats. And Bulletproof Designs, and we talked about their swing arm protectors. How did I just work that into an ad read?
Yep.
So anyways, go to tacomoto.co. They probably have most of those things. And what's our first bike?
So this is going to be from Jesse McWin. It is a 2014 KTM 500 EXC. It just says FMF. Recluse factory suspension Voyager with a trail jammer, GPR triple and stabilizer. I'm reading this as it's written. Get on the way. Baja Designs, rear handbrake, tubeless, ASV levers, seat concepts, a Cherby's Hangarda.
Hangarda. That's Italian.
Yeah, Italiana. Boysen water pump, thermo and smog delete, a Cherby's tank, Golan TM90 fuel fitting.
Is he from Arizona?
It does kind of look like Arizona there.
It looks like Arizona. So, Jesse?
Jesse McQuinn.
Jesse McQuinn. Okay, so first of all, we're going to really kind of get down to the nitty-gritty here. You heard about backlighting for photography?
I think I've heard it mentioned a couple times on the show.
Right. So, that photo, the sun should be to your back when you're shooting a photo. Just kind of, if you don't have any skills, just sun to the back. And if you're going to do it this way, fill flash, bro. Best trick that Carl Kramer ever taught me. Fill flash. So, does he have a GoPro on his throttle?
Yes, he does. And it's pointing back at him, looking at the lens there.
I think that's is that one of those 360s?
Oh,
could be a GoPro 360.
That lens looks.
That would be a horrible view, and it makes me. It could make me sick if I watch the video he shot. But Rick Levon, he has a disc guard. That to me looks like a plastic disc guard. I'm okay with that because it doesn't upset the handling or the geometry of the motorcycle that my pretty P-Pod.
Princess and the P.
Yeah, right. That feels all this stuff.
He does have a rear metal one.
He has a really nice lightweight one in the rear. And I was so taken back by the photo, I didn't hardly listen to the list, but he's got a lot. Bike looks really familiar. I got a couple of those.
Right, it does look
I
like
wonder
one
if it
I've
has
watched.
an exhaust leak like Todd Kelly's does.
Maybe.
Yeah, we should ask him about the exhaust leak. It looks like he has a progressively round spring. Sprung. Recluse. What do you say about Recluse? Does he have a Recluse?
Yeah, I just said Recluse.
It just has a Recluse.
He just named the brands
He
for
went
the most
brand-
part. He didn't
yeah.
really name the product all that much.
That's like saying I have a KTM. What has his buddy's bike got in the back? This is like ADD.
Trying to let me see if I can enhance it.
So what we do in this segment is we really dive deep into your motorcycle. He's got the Enduro Engineering grab handle.
Yeah, I don't think he mentioned that.
He didn't mention it. Then he's going to get denied for an incomplete list, a bad photo, and having some really good companies on there.
But not really mentioning
A
the
Chirby's
product.
gas tank. I like that.
Yeah, he did mention a Chirby's gas tank.
He did. You know, Franco at Chirby's saved me from a life of slavery in Mauritania.
You've mentioned
Africa.
this a few times, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever gotten the full story.
Yeah, it's
Is that an
pretty sketchy, but yeah.
off-air story?
No, it's an on-air story. It's what happens when you race the Dakar. It's what is it? It's an adventure for those that go and a dream for those that stay behind, or something like that, is what Terry Sabine said.
Mm-hmm.
But then what Huber Oriol told me was the real Dakar starts when your race ends, and that's what happened. So that's why I've done 3.5 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one's going to kind of be an instant endo because this may be the worst photo ever submitted.
Like last time was all roosts, right?
Yeah, this time's not looking too hot.
Holy shit! I need to get some Scott goggles on here with some amplified lenses to see this thing.
Yeah. So Eric R. Booth, 2020 500 EXCF.
So if you're watching this on the video platforms, you are seeing. Well, it's a bike that's parked on a creek crossing, from what I can see. I can't tell what kind of bike it is, other than it looks like it's a little bit orange.
Mm-hmm.
But the green from the forest blends into the orange, and it looks like the picture was taken underwater, but it's not. That's how blurry this photo is.
Right.
I don't even know what it's focused on, except for that rock that's about 4 feet behind the rear tire. I see the focus point.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of effort went into the photography here.
Yeah.
Can I just guess what's on this bike?
You can guess if you want.
Hold on a second. I was actually going to try to take a bottle of water and like gurgle while I said what it was, but I don't have that sound effect readily available. Go ahead.
Okay, 2020 500 EXCF.
He followed the. Did he say KTM?
Didn't say KTM. Yeah.
He did.
It says KTM handguards.
But so it's like you just expect that I'm an expert enough to know that the EXC 500 is not only the best dual sport bike, as asked in our first question tonight, but it's a KTM. Okay, it's assuming a lot here.
Okay, get end cap. Get comma end cap.
Okay.
Comma Recluse Radius CX.
I didn't know Get made end caps, but
Yeah. What's a get comma? Tie detail, Taco 360 fork wrap blinkers, a Cherubies 3.1, Enduro Engineering radiator guards and shark fin, a Cherubies skid plate and frame guards, KTM handguard wraps, Scott stabilizer on BRP crush mount.
that's really good setup, by the way.
ODI grips, seat concepts, comfort low, Shinko 505, Shinko front fatty, bulletproof fork lug guards.
Hey,
and
we already
an
got
Adventure Spirit.
the top. Our top fans are throwing thumbs downs at this thing already
Right.
because they're seeing this.
It's the photo. Like it actually sounds like he has a pretty well set up bike.
Hey, and I'll tell you what, if you would have focused this, I would be fiending to go ride there. But right now, I'm imagining that I'm like Mojave Bob, and I can't see. And this is what my whole life looks like. It's just a blurry mess. and I'd have to wear glasses. And my wife says, Jimmy, you should wear glasses because she knows something about me. And I'm like, I want to see life and the vivid thing unobstructed through lenses. Beer goggles. This bike is full beer goggles right
That's
now.
what it looks
Does anybody agree with me there?
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay. Or is Mark Daniels giving me thumbs down based on my tequila choice? That's a hard thing to tell on this.
Kind of. But I'm just going to go ahead and kind of...
I agree with you 100%. That's an endo. You know,
if it's a better picture, this thing actually kind of roosts.
So what did we do today? Like, Matt, just talk about our day today. You kind of came in here and you were pretty proud of your video editing, and
I never said I was proud of it.
Oh, you weren't?
No, I was actually just like kind of ready to hear what you had for me. I wasn't expecting A pluses on it.
Okay, so we have to take it back 2 steps, and the cameraman kind of sucked a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't give you, like, you know, there wasn't the camera wasn't as stable as it should have been, and there's a lot of things. The photo models, like, I fired those guys, but the photo models were kind of substandard.
Mm-hmm.
But then you kind of took a beat down when we were like talking about the edits.
Yeah. It's just feedback. I'm learning.
Right. It wasn't as bad as that photo. Yeah, Endo. Where did we get all these from? Those were on.
This is from the EXCFE group.
You guys need to kick it up. So actually, here's the funny thing about this. Last time they were all Roosts.
Yeah, they were
all good
Roosts.
bikes. Are we gonna go? Just you've looked at these. I haven't.
We
looked at
have
these before.
These next 2 are probably Roosts.
Okay.
But our last bike is definitely an Endo.
Yeah. So I think that just kind of shows, like, sometimes that people I'm gonna get a free $100. $100 gift certificate from
We forgot to
Takamoto
mention that. Yeah.
if you win. Mark says his photo is what sucked my eyes and are not blurry even with said tequila on board. But was my tequila good, Mark? That's tequila spot on. I see the chat above. Next bike,
Dustin Ewing.
dude. I'm liking the graphics straight away.
Yeah, this thing looks pretty sweet. 2019 500 EXCF.
So remember a couple weeks ago I talked about Andrew Short's graphics? They were just like a kind of this weird, ambiguous design.
They look like this.
It was not. This is totally different. This is like if you were an artist and you were taking drugs, he took a different drug than Andrew took. I don't know how to explain that any better than that. But these graphics are just it's like a, I don't even want to call it tile. What would that be
like
called?
shards of glass?
Shards of glass. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like shards of glass going lots of different directions on a very orange, black and gray background, if you're wondering what we are staring at if you're listening to this.
And it's pretty sweet looking.
Hey, thanks to the guys at Inside Line Moto. They are always listening to us while they're working on bikes and doing it the right way.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Okay.
right,
so get ECU with taco maps, dirt tricks sprocket, Crest suspension, 3.1 gallon tank, smog delete, bulletproof radiator guards, FMF exhaust.
well, he's got it with the what you talk about, hand guards, the pillow grips
Does
that I
not
can
talk
see.
about the hand guards, does not talk about the pillow grips. I had high hopes.
I'm looking around at where the photo is taken. It's like, look at that DG on the ground. If it rained there where he took that photo, do you know how good that dirt would be?
Really good, because in Reno, where we were downhill mountain biking, it was like that.
Is that stuff?
Yeah,
Like,
and it was so good.
he could have done one step. He could have just watered the dirt around his photo right now, and I wouldn't even look at his bike. I'd be going, look at that dirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
What does he say? What tires he has? Are they golden?
No, he doesn't
He
mention
doesn't
the
say
tires.
tires.
Oh, he doesn't mention
The tidy tail.
the tidy tail.
It's got the tidy tail. By the way, you can get those at Takamoto. We're zooming in on the photo, taking a little closer look at this. It's definitely a I'm going to tell you another. Oh, he's got the bulletproof designs. Oh boy, he's got bulletproof designs at both ends. See, I'm trying. No. I'm trying to help myself here. I'm trying not to go there every time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why the angle. That's a good angle for disguising that,
To
as
hide
opposed
it.
to putting a happy face on it. Go to the back of the swing arm. Look down. Look at the. He's got the swing arm protector.
Oh, he does.
The part that I talked about. The good thing, because that's where you hit rocks. Because if you're a good rider, your front wheel will not hit the rocks because it's always in a wheelie. It's always up in the air. That will hit things because the rear. It is a golden tire. How did I know that?
Tread patterns?
It's just like
It does say
no,
golden tire
it's-
right there.
It's ESP or something like that. What's ESP? Extrasensual perception or something like that? Existential perception? Extrasensory perception. So, oh boy. Until you brought that up, Matt, I was so roost.
I was there with the exception the fact that he did not talk about the hand guards, nor did he talk about the tidy tail. And then I saw that. This thing.
Endo.
It's Endo.
It was close. It was so close.
It was right there until...
If it would have had a Trail Tech kickstand on there, I might have overlooked some of the other stuff.
for me,
because that would be like eye candy. That kickstand with the little cutouts in it.
Well, for me, my problem is
I like his graphics.
The graphics are nice. It's because he has the front fender, because he has this, and he didn't mention the tidy tail.
And this, what we're talking about, is a
front
a Bulletproof Designs, one of our sponsors, disc guard.
There we go, metal disc guard.
Metal. It's aluminum disc guard. It's a billet Bulletproof Designs metal disc guard, and it's a plated bike too, which is what Rusty kind of pointed out.
Right, it's plated, but it doesn't mention the tidy tail.
Discard with decals like the rest of the bike is.
Oh,
yeah.
If you put camouflage shards of glass discard stickers, that's a thing for somebody to do. So yeah,
but that one doesn't. That one Endo's more on a technicality.
It is a technical endo. Yeah.
So okay.
You thought we were going straight to the roost department.
I thought we were until I saw that.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, we got a good photo.
Great photo.
This is like, as far as photos go, this one wins in the photo department.
So
it wasn't shot in his front yard that had nice dirt. It's shot out in its natural element. It's not like you killed it and mounted it on your wall and took a picture of it.
Right.
This thing's still living, roaming free. Okay.
Decker Nielsen, 2017 KTM 250 XEW. Comes with flex bars, full wrap handguards, a Cherubies headlight, an oversized tank, front and rear tuggers, radiator guards, Lex expansion chamber with an FMF silencer, Moose front and rear, Enduro Engineering skid plate, a used rear disc guard, an Electron carb because one day where I live, we're going to read this as written. In one day where I live, we can go from 3,500 to 10,000 feet, and not least is the fact that there's no extra weight added to the front.
I always say in order first to do the feather, the headgear is removed. Do you know where that saying comes from?
It sounds like from a headdress, yeah?
Well, it's my drinking club with a running problem.
In
order first to do the feather, the headgear is removed. That means you take your hat off before you have your drink. In respect to the drink.
Right.
So I think that kind of sums up what he was trying to explain there. So good thing, don't give up where you're at. Bob, do you see, look at the photo. Do you see your shadow creeping in? Does your shadow get stolen? Is it stole? I know, but like lean in a little bit. Come a little closer. Come on, a little closer. Just a little closer. Just watch the corner of that frame. Come on, Bob, do it.
That's why I moved out.
Yeah, you actually hit the light. And you actually made a shadow in your shirt. So if you want to geek out on this thing, you saw Mojave Bob's Hawaiian shirt enter the photo, and what you need to do is comment about how many souls he just lost by doing that. 11?
Oh, I have none left.
None left. Well, that's why you got to be careful. It's hard to watch this show live in person, right, Maddox? But it's almost worth the free dirt bikes you're going to ride this week. KTM free ride, electric bike?
I don't know if he's going to be riding them this week.
Oh, next week?
Probably more like next week.
Okay. So back to this bike. What was the bike again?
2017 KTM 250 XCW.
So the funny thing is, I looked at this and I said, this looks like a brand new, it looks like a 23 to me. It looks like a 22 or 23 because they haven't changed that much, from the look, the angle, the photo. It's kind of like, you know how you can take a picture Like girls do this all the time. They take a picture at a certain angle. It makes it look better than it is.
Yes.
That happens on your, what do you swipe? Which side? Which
Tinder, Bumble,
all those?
Yeah.
Those photos always look a lot better than what you encounter in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
But the good thing is that you're just looking for a good dirt bike to ride.
Mm-hmm.
This thing's pretty solid. The carburetor was what kind of triggered me. Like all of a sudden, because I'm a full fuel injection guy. This has a carburetor, but my question is, why 250
and not
300? And it's just a him personally. I'd really like to know, was it because you did not get a 300, or did you want a 250? Because there's certain characteristics of each of those bikes that are substantial that make a difference. And I always like to ask somebody, like, I was almost looking for a 250 TPI bike, but they're hard to find because they brought so few over.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, like I said, characteristics like the weight, feel, and different things. I would love to ride a 250 and 300 back to back, like I got to do in the very first intro in like the 19. I'd like to do it with the new ones because they keep making the bikes feel lighter, by the way they tune the chassis, and it'd be interesting to see. But overall, I think his bike is super solid. This is the first one. His photo's good. He listed his stuff. He did all the things.
Mm-hmm.
This thing roosts.
Yeah, this is by far the best one of the night so far.
Yeah, I'm trying to look through the spokes right now and see if he's got a discard on it.
No discard through the spokes.
Because the funny thing is, if you look closely, his helmet is on the ground.
Yeah, all for the ants to get.
And if Logan were here, we would talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
Because Logan liked to set his helmet on the ground. And then ants are really liking helmets on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I like to hang it on my foot peg. Okay, so if you've watched this entire stupid show and you've got nothing out of it, let me give you a couple pointers. You can take your chin guard of your helmet and hang it on your foot peg. Not the foot peg on the downhill side, like the kickstand side, on the opposite side of the motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
Hang your helmet on the foot peg there, and it doesn't hang on the ground. Sometimes you can slide it over the handguard, or on the handlebar. If you don't have a wraparound handguard, you can hang your helmet there.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you have a mirror, by the way, use a double take mirror because I use. Notice how clean shaven I am tonight?
Yeah.
I used a double take mirror to get all the tough to get spots.
Yeah.
With my clippers and.
Mm-hmm.
Hang your helmet on the mirror because Logan busted the mirror off on his motorcycle, and that thing became a helmet holder.
Yeah.
After ants crawled in his helmet on the soon-to-be-released video.
Yeah.
So it has a Kickstarter. Maybe it was availability, and he tried to hide the Kickstarter. No, I can see the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
They had no, they had electric start back then for sure. And Robert noticed my hat. If you notice, then it's a good club with a bad name.
Yep.
Yeah. Fuck You Racing, by the way. Thank you to Jerry and the crew at Fuck You. All you need is a sticker, and then you're cool. Actually, there was a guy at the gas station today when I was filling up my truck, and he was going the other way in a BMW.
Mm-hmm.
He had a super worn out rear tire. It was kind of a street tire. If he would have had a knobby on that thing, he would have got the Fuck You Nevada sticker.
Nice.
He didn't ride with me, but he was close, and he was in enough presence that we could have.
Right.
We could have done that.
So, this thing's Roost, right?
Roost, yeah.
Okay.
That and do you want to just go straight to who's winning tonight? Do we have another one? Or that's it. We have a video submission.
I have a video submission.
Which one was the bad one?
We can.
Which all of them were bad.
No, he was saving the bad one for last.
We can push the video to next week or
Okay.
the week after.
Okay, no.
Because looking at the time.
Yeah, no, this wins. It's just it's straight away. It's like last week was tough,
Mm-hmm.
and this week is easy. And this guy, what's his name?
Decker Nielsen.
Decker. Was Decker the one? Was Decker in the chat?
Maybe.
If he is,
Time will tell.
that's even better because that's how we decided last week. And you're in the chat, you won. The first guy to respond in the chat. But that's a cool bike. I'm stoked on it.
Yeah, it's really good.
No, it's not Husaberg level.
So,
I have to figure out where it fits on here. You know the worst thing about this board is pins fell off of it, and I stepped on one.
Yeah, I saw it. You tried to show me, and I couldn't even. I couldn't.
Yeah, I stepped on a pin. I got straight in my foot. I kind of roll around my office barefoot, sometimes in my underwear, but we don't want to talk about that.
I'm glad I'm not here when that happens.
It's okay. You got me snoring today in the massage chair.
I did get you snoring. I did go for a little bit of a walk.
Dude, I was tired. I got up early this morning.
I could tell you were tired.
I went out. So we have massage chairs in here. Thanks, Janie, my retired bartender. She dropped off Fabio, which is kind of strange, like having a massage chair named after like a guy who I've delivered motorcycles to his house before. I've been to Fabio's house.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Should I tell this story?
You should tell this story.
So there was a time when, like kind of like now, when like KTM 300s are really, really hard to get. And I worked at Cycle World magazine. This is the world's largest motorcycle magazine, and we wanted to test a KTM 300.
Yeah.
Well, Fabio was pretty big. He'd just done the Can't Believe It's Butter things. He was on the cover of all the love romance novels, whatever he was famous for. I don't know what he was famous for. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't really know who he was, to be honest with you. I was just a kid, younger guy. And I was the off-road editor at Cycle World magazine. So my job was to get the motorcycles, test them, write about them, do whatever. So we wanted to do a KTM 300. My boss said, we will test a KTM 300. Okay. KTM didn't have any, but they just given one. Like they probably gave the press fleet KTM 300 to Fabio.
Oh, wow.
Because that would probably do more for them than having like Dirt Bike magazine, that junky magazine, test it.
Yeah.
But Cycle World wants it, and like we're way bigger than Dirt Bike. And like, yeah, that's the target demographic. Oh, we've got one. Go pick it up from Fabio. So I drove up into the Hollywood Hills. And I went to Fabio's house. And just he's just a regular dude, just like me or you. He's just a dude. And that guy loves freaking dirt bikes. He really did. And so I went there and rang the doorbell. And Fabio, it's like, this dude's massive. He's huge. He's like, you know, like Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of like muscled, whatever, but he wasn't. But, you know, he's wearing kind of what you see these muscle guys, you know, these like, you know, tank top thing, just muscles sticking out. And he has an accent. I don't remember exactly where he's from, but an accent. And he's like, "Oh, you're here to pick up the KTM. Are you going to wreck my bike?" You know, my bike. He was like worried about his bike. And so we went into his kitchen.
Really?
And in getting to his kitchen, I walked around about like 30 other motorcycles.
Jeez, really?
To get there. And I don't think, I think he definitely rode the bikes a little bit, but not a lot. But he had a collection of a lot of really awesome dirt bikes as we went in there, and I, you know, took it, got to the bike, and like, oh yeah, that's the one, brand new. I don't even know what year it was. KTM 300, had to roll it out because we had to, you know, take it. You know, we had to move a lot of bikes around to get it out of his kitchen.
Jeez.
But when we were getting out the kitchen, there was one room that was wide open in his place. It was his stereo/TV room. And this is before like big screens. He had a giant big screen. Like it was before there was LED, there's another one. There was the ones that were super heavy, like those ones on the wall.
Yeah.
That came out of the palms. They're really heavy TVs. I don't know what they're called. Anybody know? Here? No. So super heavy TV, and but he had this giant one. It was like 4 times as big as that. That was his TV, and he had a stereo system. He says, "Would you like to hear the stereo?" And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I just want to get this bike and get the hell out of here because I'm not into Hollywood or I was in a city. I was out of my element. We're up in the hills or whatever, and it's just like, no, I'm stealing your awesome motorcycle that you're worried about that I'm going to go out and thrash it or whatever. Because I had to bring it back to him. I had to take it, go up and do a quick ride on it and photo shoot and then bring it back. So he's like, "Would you like to hear stereo?" I'm like, okay. I have never been immersed in sound like that. He you know, plugged in, and I think at the time, I don't know if it was CD or maybe it was a I think it was a CD that he used, whatever. But 360 degrees of bombarded by sound. It was punching him in the face.
Jeez.
In his room. And this is the only room that didn't have motorcycles in it, as far as I could tell.
Right.
And anyway, so yeah, it was pretty crazy, awesome. Plasma TV. That's what it was, a plasma TV.
Got it.
Early days of plasma, but
Wow.
back when it was a thing. And that's why I'm kind of curious about whether it was a CD, because I don't think it was a CD, because I think Fabio was so into having the right sound, he would not have Oh, you know what it was?
What?
It was reel to reel. He had a giant, like a big tape, like not a cassette tape, but a big tape.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was a big. He had reel to reel with whatever the music he played, and I don't remember what it was. I wish I did, but what a crazy ass experience.
Yeah. It sounds insane.
Yeah, so that's Fabio. That's
Yeah.
how I met Fabio.
Just looked him up.
Yeah, and Robert says his collection of motos was brilliant. I saw it firsthand. I don't know what he did with it. I don't know how, but life of a kid likes to ride dirt bikes for a living.
Yeah.
I should tell you about the guy who does. I picked up a bike from the guy who does the Container Wars or dumpster.
Is it the
storage wars or something like that? I picked up a street scrambler from that guy. And that was crazy. Yeah, you'll probably. That's a good thing. You can Google it. It wasn't a dirt bike. It was just like when you're the off-road editor at Cycle World, like you have a lot of free time because my job was to do like 2 pages a month. Best job ever. Internet ruined motorcycle journalism. Back to my theme of tonight's show. So, anyways, tubes. Curly, what are tubes?
Plasma tubes.
Plasma, and then tubes. So
Like
Rick got the plasma. Rick Levon got plasma, and the whole room was built around the stereo system. Like he had like Dolby 12 channel or whatever the heck it was. That's what he had. It was essentially a theater, that he had built into this house.
Wow.
And I can't believe it's not butter. Yeah, I should have hung out with Fabio. No, you figure out the guy that did Storage Wars.
I had just looked up.
Yeah, remind me of that guy. I don't see his name up there. He was Barry. That's the guy, Barry. He's a motorcycle. He's a motorcycle nut. Absolutely, he had some crazy motorcycles, and I don't think I can tell those stories on the podcast.
Wow, that's so cool.
So same thing, Hollywood. Yeah, Decker's in the chat. Decker, you're a winner, by the way. So reach out to Matt, and however
Matt at JimmyLewisOffroad.com.
Okay, so reach out to Matt and collect your $100 Takamoto gift certificate. Super stoked that you got your photo right. But why the 250? That's the question, Decker. That's the 250. I got an out of that?
Yeah, there was an there, and then I missed one from earlier. I'm actually kind of behind on the ums.
I've been paying more attention to this in other platforms and different things like that.
Yeah, it's something I'm working on too.
So hey, Mark, thanks for liking us. 250's roost is what Rick says. So I'm just judging that Rick has a 250. I don't have a 250, so 300s are better. I've always liked the 300 with the 250 ignition. Back in the day, that was the trick. You used to kind of get it to get a little more pipey, lively. Because I think they always said 300 was an old man's bike, and now that I'm an old man, I don't identify as one. I just want 250 power. So maybe I should get 250 stickers. I don't know. Got to thank our sponsors, Yamaha. Hey, we didn't talk about Yamaha 2-strokes yet. If it would have rained today,
it would have been a 125.
125 at the sand track all day long. Experience pure performance and exhilarating power with a full line of Yamaha YZ 2-stroke bikes. You can visit YamahaMotorsports.com today to explore what's new for 2022, which is actually old, and what's new for 2023. the new YZ125, which may last for another 20 years.
Was it 15 or no? It was 17 years.
2005.
2005 to 2022, 17 years.
17 years. You could buy a new 2022 YZ125, and it'll be good for 17 more years. Because I have a 2005, and I'm still pretty happy with it. But I'm not happy when I hop on the new one, and I realize that there's an all-new engine, revised 6-speed transmission. Don't notice that. New brakes. Don't notice that so much. Suspension settings, a little bit. Improved rider ergonomics. Totally notice that. The styling makes mine look like a old hag.
Right.
Right. So, anyways, that stuff carries over to the YZ250. And if you have a younger guy, YZ65, YZ85, YZ85 LW, bring big bike specs into a smaller package. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com to find your Yamaha YZ and enter the victory zone today. And Mark says, it's raining on the V2R course. I understand there are changes. Yeah. I saw one of their pits that was currently underwater, which could change in a day out here. It could suck it right up because like the rain out in the desert has been spectacular. I mean, I talked to some ranchers when I was out doing some of the stuff I was doing, and they are stoked. I mean, they haven't had this amount of any rain for like 3 years, and it's super cool. I mean, the Husaberg 570 agreed with the amount of rain that came down. And like I roosted to actually, I'm probably going to go over and watch the V2R Vegas to Reno qualifiers. I'm going to ride a Husaberg 570 because I think there's going to be enough traction to handle that motorcycle on the way out there.
Breaking out the Moto equivalent of good whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah, or tequila or whatever it is. So, hey, everybody, thanks for joining in. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to support Dirt Bike Test, www.dirtbiketest.com. We got some new beginner bike videos going up. You going to be riding beginner bikes here pretty soon, Maddox? Yeah. Are you stoked on motorcycles? Not yet?
He's going to be.
You're getting there.
I'm stoked to ride.
You know the funny thing is about the dirt bike? You know, I drop a little nugget of knowledge every once in a while. Like, so you're a young kid growing up, whatever, trying to get, thing. You get your driver's license, you hop out, and you're going to drive around the streets, and you want to do something that's kind of cool or crazy or whatever. What do you get if you get caught? A ticket or a broken vehicle? Yeah. Insurance rates go up, all this stuff. If you get a dirt bike, you can go do the craziest stuff known to man, and if nobody's watching, you get away with it for sure. If somebody's watching, if you're a good rider, they think you're cool. Like, I've seen Logan have girls sitting on the front of him on his motorcycle before. This is a skill and a technique that I still don't understand, never been fully described. But we will get to the bottom of this. So, dirt bikes are cool. Yep, for sure. Motorcycles are fun. That's what Paul Krause told me on the start line of one of my very first desert races. I was parked, starting next to him. And the banner went up and everything. And you're just dead silence. Bomb run, desert bomb run. And dead silence. And Paul Krause goes, hey, you know what? Motorcycles are cool. I think it was his distraction technique, but I still jumped him.
Nice.
So anyways.
Cool.
Anyways, thanks, Dennis. Thanks, Robert. Thanks, Rick. Thanks, David, for joining in. Thanks for being loyal supporters of the show. Bring a friend. Tell a friend.
Actually, I want to give Dennis a shout out and hope that he recovers from his surgery.
What did he have? Lobotomy?
I don't know if it's something I'm really supposed to.
Lobotomy, probably. He's a motorcycle rider, so they try to take half the brain out.
Hope best in recovery.
Okay. Yeah, for sure, Dennis. Yeah, recover well. Come back down and ride with us soon. And if you don't, Matt's going to ride all your motorcycles all the time.
Pretty much. I'll be flying around on a 990 Baja Edition.
And we have a new KLR
650
coming here.
Yeah, I can't wait to ride that thing.
KTM E-Ride, E whatever they call it, E something.
Yeah, free ride, and it's gonna be my first time ever riding an electric bike, so I'm really excited.
Got a KLX
230.
And so one of the things we're gonna do is a wheelie contest.
Yeah,
on small bikes, on all the especially the fuel injected ones, around my front yard.
Okay,
we're gonna just do who can keep the front end at 12 o'clock.
Okay.
And if any of the Willie boys are listening, they haven't been around much. I scared them away. They can come over and join in. Not down the street, just around the front yard. 12 o'clock high. So everybody, thanks a lot for joining in. We will see you not next Tuesday probably because I'm going to be riding unless somehow I magically get an internet connection. But we're going to take a weekend off likely and come back at you. It could be from a place north of here with a super special guest.
Oh.
Could be. Just to drop that little thing.
This is something I don't even know.
Yeah.
So
it's true, but I made it up. No, it could happen. So
cool.
Thank you, Maddox, for answering the phones. Thanks for Bob for finally making an appearance with your arm and shirt on the show. Yeah, that'll all end. Matt, good job.
Thank you.
We don't need those other guys anymore. They're fired fully.
I need them for a little bit longer.
Well, to ride bikes maybe, but
yeah.
Hey, if you are a beginner rider, by the way, and you want to test some beginner rider bikes or a seasoned rider and you want to come out and test some bikes, we're going to have some bikes. We need to get Jim out here. Jim would like to come and do this.
Okay.
We won't invite George because George is super experienced.
I'm still trying to work out some details before I have a date to like try and get everything all together and do a big shoot.
Yeah, I was actually thinking when we get really cool bikes here, not beginner bikes.
When
we get cool bikes here to invite.
Well, we have a KLR coming.
I have a milk crate too.
And we're going to throw it on there, and it's going to be the sickest adventure bike in that garage.
I'll take it off my quad and put it onto.
It's going to add
KLR.
to it. That's what's amazing about the KLR.
Do you ever wonder when the show's going to end?
It's going to end when you acknowledge that the KLR is the greatest adventure bike ever made.
It's probably
top 3 at least.
Oh yeah, top 3 for sure. It's one of my biggest recommendations when people say, "Hey, I don't know anything about adventure riding. I want to get an adventure bike." I say KLR 650. It's a great way to go. But now we don't have the Yamaha ad read for it, and Yamaha does sponsor the show. But the Tenere 700 is the replacement for the KLR in my world, and I will explain that more as I go into these details with these videos. But what I was getting to is I want to do a thing where we have some really cool bikes to test, and we bring out our favorite fans. You know, if they can get their ass out here, because we don't have any budget for this, but they can get out here, we can set up a thing where they can actually participate in this test. So you're kind of beta testing this with our kids because they don't have any money and they have no way to, they barely have a way to get out here. They blow up their turbos. Were you doing a burnout when the turbo blew up, Maddox?
No, I was gassing it though.
You were gassing it when it blew up. Okay. So how do I know this? It's called wisdom. Wisdom is like old people have wisdom, and you don't like old people, so wisdom doesn't matter anymore.
It's also called experience. He was 16 too at one point.
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a Nissan pickup truck with no turbos and no power, and I managed to blow transmissions out of it. So, see, our fans are.
Yeah, they'll fly in.
Yeah, they'll fly in. They'll do it. Yeah, we're going to do something like this. I think it would be a really cool content, and like everybody's opinion is valid, and it's awesome to hear what everybody gets to say about these things. I do it for a living, so I'm a little jaded, but then again, I want to convey good information. So, with that, Matt, we're going to shut this damn show down. Thanks for joining in. Follow us, like us, do all the things that you do to share. And I'm still old, but I'm still riding, so it's all good.
There you go.
So with that, we're going to see you out in the